Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, it's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
What's up, everybody? What is up, everybody? Everybody. I want to bring up an old school oldie bagitty, man. Well, let's see, man. It's been a while since I've played this one, so I'm gonna put this one up here. Yeah, let's see. Let's bring this one back, man. I used to play this one all the time on this show. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let me know if y'all can hear that. Check. Let me know if y'all can hear that. Yeah. Let me know if y'all can hear that. Yeah. Y'all hear that? It's been a while, man. I used to be the weekly jam. Weekly jam, man. Because you know we be lounging here on PNP. Yeah. 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 Y'all hear that? Sounds good. Sound good. Everything sound good, y'all. Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback, PNP Nation. Give me some feedback. Yeah. Give me some feedback on if you hear the song that I'm playing right now. Used to freestyle, man. I'll be too tired to freestyle nowadays, man. Yo, I'm so tired. But I'm not fired. But I am hired. Looks like Aaron Hill Biz hear me. He says, yep, he is free. Free from all the gravity that we do. Cause we hanging on lean time and build tonight, bro. Nah, I'm not tired of Bill Apter, but it's okay. We hear it. Oh, yay. Just like the cheerleaders of the way. We got the Indiana Pacers about to win the national championship in NBA. That's what we do. What's up, Av? Av is in the bill. We got a smiley face. He's not a heel. All right, y'all. That's all I got, man. I'm never tired of Bill Apter, but I am tired. Period. I'm always tired. It's midnight. I started my workday at 9 a.m. Doing therapy all day. Hey, do the Sasha Banks, the CEO dance. You know, we have fun and we lounge here at PNP, man. Hope y'all had a good time creating. Hope you had a good time. Here to good time. Share time. That's what we do every time at the beginning of the show. Went back to the old school intro song as I used to play every week in freestyle. But man, with my schedule was crazy then, but it's even crazier now. With things picking up and as far as just my duties as a doctor and a college professor, man, I got it's crazy. Lots and crazy. We don't use profanity here on the biz. This is a lounge. This is a lounge area where we just chill, man. It's like an after 5 joint with some coffee. I literally do have coffee right here. And actually you can get this mug on my website. I have a clothing line as well. You see, business guy, man. I that's actually bad promotion from on my end because I don't promote my clothing line too much. But I also make t-shirts, faith-based t-shirts, and mugs as well, man. So I came up with this idea. It's one of the mugs that that I sell on my website, visionwear.co, VIZIONWEAR.co, visionwear.co. This is Mo Mint Mo Mint you get it? You get it? You get it? So yeah, this is my mug here, and it's selling on my site. And go grab it, yo. Go grab it. All right. So we've already got some amazing. We got people coming on in, which is fantastic. We got the chat room lit as always. We got the lounging. We got the classroom filling up today because we've got a really. I'm feeling like the mood of this show is already. There's a vibe to this show that I'm already feeling right now. So we're gonna have some fun as we do as always. All right. So here's the thing. Let's get class started. I'm not gonna start my lecture with a lot of intro stuff, but that's what we do for the very beginning of the show. As I play the music, as people come into the classroom, as people share and do all that stuff. But hey, it's time. It is time for class. We got a topic today. All right. And of course, I'll ask the questions. We're already at 3 digits right now as far as the live audience. Thank you so much for your wonderful support. Here's the deal. This is going to be an interesting topic. Of course, hashtag Ask Doc. I'll get to the questions. I'll get to the Q&A at the end like I do every single week. I'll do my class in the beginning of the show. Then we do the Q&A at the end. All right, so that's the format of PNP. We're going to have some fun. So as the chat is loading right now, it's continuing to load, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have some fun. All right, so this, I have saved my topics of choice to the week. I have a list of topics that I want to talk about, like from a psychological perspective, but and I still have a list, and it's going to be fun. There's always weeks that are not as eventful, and I have, topics on deck. All right. But this weekend was very, very eventful. Very eventful. Why was it eventful? Because of a few things. Because of the firestorm that came surrounding the release / contracts non-fulfillment of R-Truth. All right. And Carlito, both R-Truth and Carlito both announced that they will no longer be with the WWE. All right. More R-Truth and Carlito received a firestorm of negative response from social media. All right. So that was on Sunday. There was just like some type of bloody Sunday, going on here with a couple of releases. But before that, it was 2 other situations that drew a lot of heat from the Twitter audience, and I was in one of those things that I'm talking about. I kid you not. I received a text message. I'm gonna read the text message. I'm gonna go to the text message here. I received the text message at it was Thursday. I received it at 11:26 a.m. It is more than just rumored that Vince wants to buy back WWE, etc. And I'll get to the details on the Patreon. But I'm gonna read this text message on the Patreon. But I received it. It's pretty lengthy. It's pretty lengthy. All right. And I said, okay, cool. So I said, interesting. And I also was going back and forth with this person who has a strong relationship with Vince McMahon. And basically I said, okay, so what I'm going to do is, and I always double and triple check my sources, and, and always I do that with every single source that I have. All right. So what I did, I said, I'm going to break it because I basically, it was okay. I'm going to get it in between my clients. It was in between clients. I saw this, I broke the information, and I said, okay, cool. It was more of like, it wasn't even really a scoop per se. It was more like this is a topic of discussion. And this is interesting. This is something that I'm realizing right now more than I already have. is I guess I don't realize the reach that I have on in this insider wrestling stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and this is the reason why I'm going to get into this class about Twitter in a moment. But to me, when I released that thing, it was just okay. This is a topic of discussion. We'll have people on Twitter comment as far as like, do they think that Vince is going to buy it? Is it even available to buy? Which is the answer is no to that. So it's not even worth buying. But I got I got details to that as far as his interest. Now, is he going to buy it? Didn't report that. Is he in the process of buying it? Didn't report that. Is TKO open to even selling it to him? Didn't report that. None of that stuff. So it was more of okay, I'm not really going to make this a thing. Like it was a conversation I had with someone who I have a bunch of sources, and one person sent me this stuff. It was just a topic of conversation I had with them. I said, okay, well, I'm going to put this on my Twitter. I actually sent the screenshot of my Twitter post to this person, and they said, cool. So it was just a topic of discussion. That was my point. And I get off Twitter. I come back a few hours later, and the floodgates open. Like, I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, I literally posted this thing for a topic of discussion. And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't even know. Like, this wasn't even a scoop. Like, I would have provided much more details, just like I do with all the other scoops, if this was like a scoop. This was like, oh, I got word that Vince McMahon is interested in buying back WWE. Whether he can or not, that's not the topic of discussion. The topic of discussion is that he's interested, because that's the information that I got. When is he interested? I said that there's details, and there's a bunch of details, but I was like, okay, I got details, but I'm not going to go into it, blah, blah, blah. That caused a firestorm of just taking a little and doing this, blowing it up. And then, of course, you get the IWC being an IWC. I always say the IWC is going to IWC. So that's the reason why that doesn't bother me. Then I got other stuff, and I got tagged and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm just like, what in the world? It was simply a topic of discussion, and which is the reason why I didn't get into detail, which is the reason why I didn't report this as a scoop, or because I'm actually contracted to report my scoops through Sportskeeda. It was just on my Twitter. That's the reason why I don't break stuff on my Twitter anymore, because I'm contracted to break it through Sportskeeda. So it was literally on my Twitter, topic of discussion. There you go. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that was really interesting. And then I was the biggest heel on Thursday. And then I think it was Saturday that Flair did his thing, and he was the biggest heel on Saturday. And then Triple H was the biggest heel on Sunday when he posted something. I think it was Sunday when it posted something about like the Kingo winning the AAA championship or something like that. People was calling him tone deaf. People to call him the read the room. He received a firestorm of negative reactions because he just simply made a tweet about the Kingo winning the championship, and people just an onslaught of tweets. So he became the biggest heel on Sunday. And it's just like, Twitter, come on, Twitter. And so I said, okay, all right, it's time for me to break this down and more in depth from a psychological perspective about social media and Twitter as a whole. All right, so that's the backdrop of today's class. So let's talk about social media. So from the perspective of psychology, social networks are defined as digital spaces that allow users to organize both their social relationships on the network. I saw a comment there, hilarious. Organization, appearance, and comparison, and the individual social ability, the individual social identity, identification, and definition. So that's what social networks are from a psychological perspective. So basically, social relationships and the individual social identity. Now, breaking down social identity theory, basically how that person views themselves among a group of people and integrate themselves into it. That's the very, very short Cliff Notes version of social identity theory. All right, so that's a social network. And so then you break that down to social media, and social media is defined as visual communication, a visual communication method in which topics are created, shared, and exchanged by users, allowing them to interact with each other, to which other users can respond and participate. All right, so that is social media. That's the definition of social media. All right, so here's the thing. Social media has its benefits. A lot of times people, like from a Facebook perspective, it's less of a public platform. Like it is a very public platform, probably the biggest public platform, but it's more of a social network from a peer-to-peer or a extension of peers, extension of friends and family members that moved out of the country, moved out of the state, moved out of the city that you don't work with anymore, that you were cool with, those things, there's many different reasons why you have friends on Facebook. In the sense of like group pages and things like that, we'll get to public figures. When it comes to group pages and public figures and things like that, there's the toxicity is there, but it's more like a social networking site versus Twitter is more of a public forum that highlights a lot of celebrity, news, media. It has more of that public celebrity type of feel. And as we'll get more into the statistics, I got a lot of statistics and research and things like that to let y'all know about this, the danger when it comes to social media. So when it comes to that, it becomes negative. It becomes dangerous. But from a standpoint of, I have a Facebook account. However, I'm using it more to interact with like-minded people. Like, for instance, I have a couple of groups that I'm interacting with, that I interact with a lot, that I created. I have a theology group, an apologetics group, and also have a college football group. Like those are the two groups. I've created different groups throughout the years, but those are the two groups that that I interact with daily on a daily basis, because I love theology and apologetics and I love college football. So though it's like-minded, it's very, very respectful banter. It's typically just people, just news and stuff to discuss. I really enjoy interacting with both groups because the people are super respectful there. It's just a platform of like-minded thoughts and people to just kind of churn and brainstorm and just kind of look at the news of what's going on, especially with my theology and apologetics as well. It's more stories and giving thoughts and opinions on different faith-based things going on. My college football group is more news that is coming out when it comes to the football. And of course, when college football season come, it's more of a giving kind of up-to-date beat coverage of the games that are going on that week or that weekend. So now it's more of scheduling stuff. We'll talk about portal stuff. We'll talk about recruit stuff. It's a lot of fun. So stuff like that, super fun, super beneficial for social media. But the public platform that Twitter is mostly about, there's not a lot of like personal connection of like, hey, friends, welcome to my Twitter page. We're out here having a good time and let's be friends. It's more of this is a public image and this is a public figure. And a lot of the Twitter audience is basically liking a public figure and putting their thoughts or lack of well thought out opinions that's very emotional. We'll get to that in a minute. As far as that's basically what we get on Twitter. All right. So here's the thing when it comes to and even before we get to the dangers of Twitter, social media is huge. I mean, there was a study in 2015 that it was about 2005. It was about 5% of American adults use social media. That was 2005. This was, early Facebook, early MySpace, Black Planet. I was just talking to one of my clients, I think this week sometime about Black Planet. I remember Black Planet was a thing. Yahoo Messenger or Yahoo Chat was a big thing back in the day. And so that those platforms were really cool back in the day, but it was just 5% of, adults in America. Fast forward nearly 15 years later, in 2019, there was a study that over around 70% of American adults have a social media platform. So it's grown exponentially in less than 15 years. And so that's the influence that social media has on America as a whole. So the benefits can be important, it can be beneficial, and they are beneficial in many ways, and you should use it that way. But the problem is it starts to transition into the increased assumption of those public platforms can lead to increases of cyberbullying and toxicity, particularly in Twitter. There's studies to show that Twitter is among the platform, like one of the biggest platforms that has more negative displays, negative posts and toxic and emotional posts than any other platform. IG is, it's not really the worst platform. Is just basically looking at pictures and commenting on, liking it, things like that. Snap is a thing. I'm too old for Snapchat, but Snapchat is a thing to a lot of the current generation. It's just, it's not a lot of opportunities to just vitriolic, anonymous. We'll get to anonymity in a moment. Not a lot of room for that versus Twitter. It's a huge platform for that type of expression. And so basically what happens is research highlights its effect on overall well-being when it comes to Twitter and its level of toxicity. So research shows that emotional information is shared more than non-emotional information as a whole, and negative language is shared more than positive language in social media. So even from a non-social media standpoint, we have a concept called the negativity bias. And so basically people tend to view things more from a negative basis. We're just kind of wider. It's kind of like a coping mechanism. It's kind of like a guarding and a protective measure in our minds. We actually have to do a lot of work to transition more into being more optimistic thinking. But oftentimes what we do is we get ourselves in what's called a negativity bias. It's more of a protective measure of guarding ourselves to be able to handle negativity, negative things that happen. Like I always give people this example. Say for instance, you were at work and you had you're a novel worker. You do a great job at work. You've had multiple perfect attendances. Your year-to-year scores are up, and you have an annual meeting, and it was very positive. It was very positive. And so after your positive annual meeting, you get a call. I mean, you get a message, you get an email from the owner who has an office in the office. And within work, y'all communicate through emails. That's protocol at work. So you get an email from the executive, the CEO of the company. All right. You've been there for 7 years, novel employee, things are going well, business is booming, and you get a call. You get a call from you get an email from the CEO, and it's 4:30 p.m. and you're off at 5. You get an email on a Tuesday. You're told, hey, meet me in my office 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Don't be late. All right. I need to talk to you. So you read that email from the CEO and you're like, whoa, hold on. Heart, boom, 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 boom. Heart beating, racing like a road runner. And you're like, hold on a second. Then you spend so much time trying to create just kind of barriers, self-soothing kind of talk. You do everything you can to try to justify this email, but your brain and your mind is so anxious, and then you start to talk about talk about things to other people. I can't believe that I got this email. You're just assuming that it's negative. I can't believe that I got this email. He tells me at 4:30 to come and talk to him. I've been a novel employee. I don't know why he wants to talk to me at 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why he wants to do this. He could have just told me at 8:30 a.m. I don't know. I'm thinking about. So you're doing all of this stuff to just beat up your brain, trying to figure this thing out. You barely can sleep, heart racing, thinking about this thing all day. You're thinking about, oh my gosh, I got to take care of my family. How in the world am I going to do the job? I just got a big promotion, making 6 figures now. Oh, I got this to take care of. I had this on my portfolio, expectations this year. I got this to do. I got this to pay off. Like you're thinking of all of those things, and you're grasping for air because of anxiety. And then finally, heart's racing, heart's bumping, heart's crazy right now. You go into the job, you pull up, you do all those things, heart racing still. First thing you do before you even go to your office, you even forget to clock in. You're like, okay, here we go. You're in the waiting room waiting for the CEO 20 minutes beforehand because you're so nervous, heart's pounding, clammy hands, and then all of a sudden 9:05 comes in. The CEO wants you to wait more. From what I've heard, if it was Vince McMahon, it'd probably be 3 or 4 hours later. But not 5 minutes go by. There's a little bit of psychology going on there. So you wait it's 25 minutes now. It's 9:05. You go into you're nervous as all get out. You sit down in the chair, look face to face with the CEO and say, hey, I appreciate the email. I just want to know exactly what would you like of me today, and I'm here to discuss whatever you were looking for to discuss. And you're thinking in your head, in your mind, you're like, lay it easy on me. This is going to be tough, right? So the CEO says, hey, Mr. Robertson, I do want to let you know that I've really, really enjoyed your 7 years being here. So you hear that compliment and you're already in your head saying, okay, this is an intro to a termination. You've been a novel employee. You've done really, really good business here. You hear another compliment and you still take it negatively. You're like, get to the chase. Tell me I'm about to get fired. I just want to let you know, the CEO says, that effective immediately, all these things that you've been told in this conversation so far, none of them are negative, but you're perceiving it all as negative. Effective immediately, we are going to, still not negative. And you're like, at this point, you're like, head down. I knew it. Confirmation. And you still haven't heard anything negative. And after we are going to, he says, give you another raise. And basically, you're like, you're shocked. Nothing about any of your production or productivity, none of that should have been shocking. Like, this announcement shouldn't have been shocking to you because you just had rave reviews. You just got a promotion 2 weeks later, 2 weeks ago. You just had people talking very, very positive of you. Your numbers look wonderful year to year. Everything is looking really well for you. And so you go and you take one email and you take that into sweating bullets and planning to get fired. That's how the negativity bias works. That's how you start talking about your job. You just praised your job the other day. Now you're talking negatively about your job. I mean, this is the first time I got a promotion. Like, that's how your brain just goes. That's how your brain just starts brewing. You look at someone who basically had, something. You look at someone who basically got a promotion that was just there, that hasn't been there for a while. You say something negative about them. You look at someone who was enrolled in a university based on having a really, really good ability to pass tests. So you think, like, there's some people even think this way. This person must have cheated. You know what I mean? Like, you think those things all the time. That's where the negativity bias comes. There's always something negative to chime in or to think about regarding this thing or this person or even your perception towards something. So take that and apply it to Twitter. You have a beehive of that on Twitter. And so basically what happens is you continue to have that type of mentality flooded on Twitter every single day. There's actually a Twitter study. There's a study to show this, because Twitter basically has become a very significant area in sharing public opinion, as I talked about. And because of that, it's become a very a fertile hub for critical study. And so there was a study, there's been a bunch of studies on Twitter when it comes to like well-being. And there's been previous studies that, regarding Twitter that were used to show links to increased levels of expressive outrage, as well as diminished well-being. There was another study in 2024 of daily Twitter users that it showed that it also results in an increase of boredom and loneliness. But the crazy thing about that is that on top of that, it also showed an increase of a sense of belonging. So you have we talked about this. I talked about this on the previous classes when it comes to mob mentality, when it comes to swarm theory, when it comes to groupthink, when it comes to de-individualization and dehumanization and disinhibition. All of those concepts you have to think about. Listen to my look at my old classes, and I'll talk about that in all those things in a lot of detail. All those factors come in when it comes to its actual Twitter audience. Very, very common fertile ground for this audience to be shown on Twitter. more than any other platform. Twitter is it. Why? Okay, I'm glad you asked. So basically, the sense of belonging, basically, it's critical interpreting an additional study. It was another string of studies that showed that Twitter is a platform where negative expressions are shared more for public figures than average or ordinary users. That was a 2023 study. So it shows that people who view others as public figures in any way, those people are more prone to receive negative backlash on Twitter than ordinary users or average or daily users. Someone who has a couple thousand followers, just living it up day by day. Hey, this is Twitter. Hey, I'm going to make comments on Twitter. Doesn't really get a lot of interaction. Some likes, some not likes. Not a lot of interaction on Twitter. Twitter isn't really a hub or it's not really a platform to just really give you kind of day-to-day stuff. That's something I've noticed. Before I started to break news on Twitter, I wasn't much of a Twitter user. Like it's not like a day-to-day status type of platform. Facebook's that. I'm on Facebook a lot. But Twitter, on the other hand, didn't really use Twitter much. And so I started using Twitter more when I started to gain some relationships. I really wanted to honestly have another string of income. I was building some stuff, getting some things ready as far as portfolio is concerned for 2025. So in 2024, I was like, okay, so how can I get some more income? Okay, I got some connects still in WWE. I'm going to use that. That became me breaking inside news. I gained more connects because I've started to become a public figure, which is interesting. And so I use Twitter as just an opportunity or a hub to just like break news. All right. So there was a couple things that I broke that people were like, who is this? And they started to come back to back as far as being accurate. And that led to, I grew like over 4,000 subscribers in like 4 or 5 months. And so like that became an opportunity for me to use it in more of a public platform perspective. But I just, in my heart and soul, and still to this day, I feel this way. To me, it's still a ask Dr. Chris. Here's a beautiful picture of my family. Here's, this is what's going on in my life. I got this graduation to speak at, which I actually do in a couple of months. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like just stuff like that. Just kind of goings on with my life. But Twitter's not really like that. You know what I mean? Unless you're like a big celebrity, but it's still self-promotion. And I'm not really into that, as far as just like the self-promotion and stuff like that. I'm not really into that. So my thing is when I used Twitter, it never really had that type of appeal to me. It started to become more appealing when my reach started to grow. And so because of that, the problem with that comes in was the more the reach started to grow, the more the dopamine kick started to happen to appease the audience. And I'm a business guy. I'm like, look, if I'm using this time and spending this time, I better get some gains that come with it. And so eventually I was like, okay, so I'll use this to become a commodity for, to be able to get an opportunity to get paid to do this, which I thankfully was able to do that and sign a contract, report myself exclusively, get paid very well to do that. And so that was a success, but in the interim with that, it was like I remember it was I mean, I start getting a swarm of DMs of who's this, who's going to do this, and then I'll be like, okay, so let me appease my audience. And granted, mind you, this stuff is late at night because I'm a whole day full of therapy. I'm going in between clients trying to look at this real quick. I'm backing out. I'm waiting. I'm getting off of work, looking at messages, responding to people. Even got to the point of going back and forth, which I don't do. Absolutely ridiculous. It's just very low brow, very low EQ stuff as far as like the comments. And then there's a few of them that I bit because it's like I'm going old school, like before Christ, Chris, I started to see that, man. And I'm like, nah, man, nah, we ain't doing this. We ain't doing this. That this is not a representation of who I am in Christ right now. And even if I'm representing myself in a way that I'm not like just saying nasty stuff, it's still argumentation with someone who I don't know. I don't know you. You don't know me. And that's the reason why I no sell stuff all the time. Like, I mean, that's just an opinion. I always tell people opinions are like farts. They're loud. Opinions are like farts. They're loud, they stink, and they go away. Like that's basically what someone's opinion of you is. It's only true. I always tell, this is something else I tell my clients. If someone says something about you, for it to affect you, it's either true or it's perceived to be true. If it's not true, it doesn't stick. Now, when it comes to like reputation and like people saying stuff falsely about you with platforms, I get that from a business standpoint. Like I've become a brand and a public figure. I get all that stuff. But even with that stuff too, it's just like, nah, it's not worth it, man. Like, if you know the truth about yourself, if you know the truth about the truth, little slithers of information and people's contacts and stuff, man, you shouldn't have time in the day. I know I don't. You shouldn't have time in your day to go back and forth with people on Twitter. But here's the issue, though. That happens a lot with public figures. You get all these negative comments, and even statistically speaking, people who become public figures, they're more prone to get negative talk and negative speech to them. And this is interesting. It's an interesting concept of why people do that. And I noticed that myself. I mean, again, Thursday's tweet was simply, hey, this is what I heard. I got details, but I didn't report the details because it was irrelevant. Like it wasn't really nothing to report. I mean, it wasn't anything to report. It's like, okay, this is cool. I'll throw this out there for discussion, but just like dirt sheets reporting it. I'm getting all types of text and DMs and email. Like I kid you not. I got so much reaction from simply in my head getting a text reporting, or it wasn't a report to me. It was just a post. It was a topic of discussion and I'm like, okay, so it's interesting that I'll get like a little bit of interaction with the Twitter audience when it comes to like my P&P, or if I'm reporting something that is verified, it tends to be who ends up being correct. Mild, interaction with that. But when it comes to the negative perception of something, boom. So that completely proves the statistics. They are walking case studies of statistics of what I just said, of what happens on Twitter. Why do people act that way? Okay, glad you asked. It's actually a psychological concept called Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is it's German. it means harm or danger, Schaden, and Freud means joy. So basically, people take pleasure of seeing the failures or the harm or the danger of others. I actually talked about this a few years ago on my other page when it talked about when the crate challenge was a big thing, and people kept falling and getting hurt. That's the reason why like World Star Hip Hop is big. That's the reason why people like to see people's demise. That's a celebrity that gets a big stuff that gets a big firestorm of publicity. Now, if people acting crazy, it should. I mean, that's what the media does. But again, people not knowing a lot of information about celebrities and things like that, as far as just you don't know the details of the relationship. Like, for instance, like there was like the Nikki Bella stuff that came out with her and her ex. You know, at first it was like there was just a firestorm of people supporting Nikki, and then there were some other things that came out like after the fact, and people had to kind of, tuck their tail between their legs when they started to know more information. And so that's the thing, when people get that little bit of information, it's boom, they negatively express themselves, especially when it comes to public figures. Schadenfreude shows that. Schadenfreude is the negative perception of these people and wanting to see them fail. Why? Because it causes someone to feel better about themselves. It highlights someone's insecurity. It highlights someone's emotional instability. And what it does psychologically is it causes someone to look at that public figure and say, okay, if I see them fail, if I comment about it negatively, I'm going to have other people. That's where we get into the de-individualization. I'm going to have other people comment on this thing. And so now I'm going to find some sense of belongingness, which goes right back into the statistics of sense of belongingness based on the studies being a big factor of why people use Twitter, but also loneliness. And it's like you got loneliness and boredom, but you also got sense of belonging. So you got people scrolling on Twitter looking to put negative stuff there, negative comments. They're lonely. Statistically, they're lonely, they're bored, but they belong. But hence you get a bunch of negative comments on Twitter. I hope it's clicking for all of you as far as like when it comes to being a part of that Twitter mob and why you're doing this and why you feel so comfortable with doing this. Twitter as a whole, man, it's just not, there was an article I read about a former employee, like it was a former employee having to log off Twitter because the former employee found it so toxic after a while, and how there was employees that initially wanted Twitter and saw Twitter and they were employed at Twitter, and they were like, man, this is going to be great. This is going to be an opportunity for business professionals to share and public figures to be a public figure. And then it's gravitated, navigated over to just a cesspool of toxicity. And that's what happens when you give people an opportunity to feel their feels without working on themselves. Psychological phenomena it's a real thing, man. And Twitter gives people the opportunity to have a mob mentality, to be people who I'm going to comment, because that's actually my last point that I want to make here in the class. It goes back to anonymity. It's the concept of anonymity. I've talked about this before, but I want to break that down a little bit more. So anonymity basically it causes people to find more comfort in sharing negative and toxic comments. That's what studies show as far as why do people feel more comfortable in doing this. It's because of the concept of anonymity. It's because you have people that have a perceived sense of anonymity on social media. It increases self-disclosure. It decreases sharing of what you feel about something, even if people don't care, but you're looking to generate people who care with you. You're looking to generate and gravitate to the strength in numbers emotional mob. That's when you start to feel better about that. That goes back to de-individualization. And so basically it increases self-disclosure, especially negative comments. It also brings a variety of self-serving and antisocial behaviors. So just lack of remorse, the ability to not having really good social relationships. Those are all components of antisocial behavior. And it has a greater tendency to commit what's called cyber aggression. So you have cyber aggression, and you have these people who basically feel more comfortable because of the perceived anonymity to become more aggressive. And actually studies show that anonymity actually causes more criminal behavior too. People who feel more anonymous, who don't feel less highlighters, less spotlit, they're more prone to commit. They're more prone to commit crime. That's the reason why there are studies that show that there's like streetlight projects. There's like and that's actually started to pick up over the past about 10 or 15 years, where there's been initiatives to have more streetlights in certain areas because there's studies that show that actually crime reduces when streetlights are in areas. And so there's been actually more like city initiatives to put more streetlights up in different areas. And so again, if someone feels more anonymous, they're more prone to be more aggressive. It actually invokes more aggressive behaviors. That's the reason why crimes are mostly committed in the evening, because of a sense of anonymity. Take that anonymity, put that on Twitter. You don't have to verify your account. There's burner accounts galore on Twitter. If someone has a burner account on Facebook, you'll be like, okay, this is a burner account. This is a joke. But people on Twitter, they have burner accounts all the time. They don't have actual pictures up. They don't have a lot of followers. They're just a part of a mob of other people who comment about something. If they have 200 followers, and at the end of what happens, if something happens about a story and they have 200 followers, it's like, oh, let me go into the mob of other people who have 200 followers, and now I feel big. And that's where the anonymity ties into the sense of belonging while also being lonely and bored. The stats don't lie, ladies and gentlemen, and you got to be careful when you get on Twitter because in many ways it's not healthy for you if you're not emotionally stable, very much so. So pay attention to that, and don't get caught up in the emotion that comes to Twitter. If you want to have a Twitter account to look at news and get updates and stuff like that, it's all good, man. But when it comes to this toxic mob mentality nature that I just laid down the stats about for when it comes to Twitter, not healthy. Not healthy at all, man. All right. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed class for today. I really enjoyed that. That's actually very important. That's more of an evergreen. I mean, a lot of these classes, man, they're psychological concepts. That's why I'm doing this in this show. I use current events, current topics, and I use that and I break away because, I'm not I talk about wrestling all the time. I get paid to talk about wrestling in many different platforms. I'm excited about what lights me up is talking about psychology. And that's why I love this show. That's why I love this platform and have the ability to be able to have those conversations. So I took all of that social media stuff that happened over the weekend. I said, boom, let me talk about the dangers of Twitter. Let me integrate that into this. And so, all right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, like I said, hashtag Ask Doc, and your comment will be on the screen. So, without further ado, it is now time for the question camp. Oh man. Yeah, I just wanted to use that soundbite. I don't think I've ever used that soundbite on here. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, Ask Doc. Let's do this. Oh boy. Got a lot of wonderful comments here. All right. You're an expert, so you would know, but why is jury duty still a thing? Shouldn't have stopped and disbanded once Edge kicked out. Once Rhea Ripley, Priest still feels like it feels like Jobber Day now. Cool. I mean, why is it still a thing? Because people are employed and need something to do. I mean, that's essentially what this is leading to. I mean, yeah, could it be not even worth it? Has it lost its steam? Personally, yes, I think so. But at the same time, hey, that's what they want to do with what they're doing. Oh, you got a shout out from Mac Davis and Solo Monster. I'm not too familiar with Solo Monster. Mac Davis, I'm very familiar with, man, because I work with Matt Davis. Mac Davis is an awesome dude. Really cool guy, man. Mac's the man. It doesn't make sense to me why the group is still going on like DX without Triple H and HBK, Mr. Dark Spell Taker. I agree, man. It's, you know. Making logic from WWE stuff. I mean, come on. People's Wrestling Channel, loving the new camera shot. Let's go. Loving the new camera shot. This is the this is the Zoom cam, ladies and gentlemen. This is the new camera shot here on the Pancakes and Power Slam show, and just the new camera shot. Period. This is what I do, man. This is the new and improved third cam. So I had a third cam that was just kind of sitting in my studio and really didn't have much to do with it. It was just kind of sitting there. I was just like wondering, like, I mean, like, what do I want to do with this? It was kind of up there, and I was like, no, I kind of have a kind of overhead cam, and I have a headshot cam, and I was like, what do I want to do with my third cam? So I was like, man, I think I'll do like a Zoom cam on the other side. I don't have like a Zoom cam. And so I'm going to do stuff like this. And I'm also going to use this cam more when I do reactions. And so I'll be able to look at stuff and have that type of appeal. So I've got, of course, my front face cam. I've got my question cam right here. And then I've got my Zoom cam. So that's that, man. Thank you very, very much. The People's Wrestling Channel. Thoughts on going forward? The Slim Jim logo would be on tables under the ring. Okay, cool. I mean, that's more money. That's more money for WWE. James, I still can't believe WWE let go of R-Truth, who's been there since 2001. Then came back in 2008 and gave us some of the funniest moments in WWE history. Are they crazy? Yeah, I mean, again, I was talking to an office employee. I was talking to an office guy Sunday about that, and we had a really good conversation. and he brought up some really good, he brought up some really interesting ideas. There's some really interesting concepts about that. I was like, huh, I didn't know. Like, that's interesting. That's an interesting concept about that. I was like, being an office guy, that makes sense. Now, he wasn't like in the process. He wasn't. He didn't have anything to do with firing R-Truth, but he's an office guy, and I said, "Huh, that's actually that's an interesting point of view from the office, from an office perspective." And so I'll talk about that on the Patreon. So thoughts of R-Truth being released. Yeah, I mean, beloved, beloved, and it's unfortunate. What is a college professor and what does it entail? What it's a college professor. It's a college professor. It's a teacher. You teach college courses. I teach college. I teach college level courses. I know you're in the UK, so I don't know if there's a college in the UK. I imagine there's grade school and then post grade school. I'm not too familiar with the UK school systems, and so yeah. So you have grade school here in the States up to 12th grade, and then after 12th grade you have college, and so yeah. I imagine. I imagine it's. I know that there's colleges in the UK. I know that there's colleges in the UK. There's prestigious colleges in the UK. So yeah, interesting. Fun fact. The word doctor actually derived from Europe. One of the initial derivatives of the word doctor was in Europe. As a lot of times people, they think of doctor. I mean, doctor's it's the highest level of education that someone can get. Okay, we know that, but they also, it's also largely associated with medical professionals now. Although you can be a doctor and many other things, but it was actually a European education term, and it was someone who was the highest level of professor in Europe, and so that actually got transferred to the medical field. Came in here in the States, and it was brought to use as someone who's like a top level medical professional. And so it actually started as a top level professor, which became a top level medical professional, which started to expand to other specialties, other careers. And so, yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit for you. And so as far as like what does it entail, I mean, I grade dissertations. I had to make I'm the chair I'm the chair of the department, counseling and psychology, so I had to make a completely different curriculum. I took over a program, and I had carte blanche. I was actually asked and hired to completely overhaul the program. So I built a brand new curriculum. I gained a bunch of students. I became the chair of their writing assignments before they graduated, and so the majority of my day is getting curriculum stuff fine-tuned, and grading and writing assignments, helping students through their process as writing. And so it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I always wanted to be a college professor, and I am one, so it's a blessing. James, I received this R-Truth segment of him and Ray Barrett. He's talking about Pinocchio. Once he knows start growing, Truth says, I don't think that's PG. Yes. There's so many. That's awesome. On script, you mentioned you have Lil Jimmy's number. Can I get his number? Nah, he doesn't want it to be shared publicly. Awesome sauce. Social media is toxic. It gives people the freedom to be anonymous and insulting. Only use Facebook because profiles have real photos instead of fake avatars. There's like a social show. See, exactly. Exactly what I was talking about. Exactly, spot on. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. I've been doing some thinking about social media. I've been doing some evaluation about social media, man. So yeah, I might be making some decisions here soon. Social media is dopamine. People will feel they accomplish something when they get likes from bots and strangers as if it has any significance. Exactly. So what they do is they keep going back to that dopamine kick. Not healthy. Would be funny if R-Truth goes to AEW, wanders around thinking he's in WWE. He could wander around backstage and do things like call John Moxley. Now that would be hilarious. I definitely don't think Khan would do that. But like I said, I came up with when Bill Apter on our show that we just had. I think that what they should do is they should, if they bring in R-Truth, he should be vying for that position to be a part of the Hurt Business. I think that him and MJF should go back and forth with trying to get that position to be the member of the Hurt Business, and that would be funny. Awesome sauce. As you mentioned in the previous Hogan video, social media also encouraged trends. The Joe Hendry Hogan bashing was an internet trend that manifested in the crowds cheering, booing them on TV. Spot on. Yep, absolutely. 100%. Michael Pasolano. It would be funny if Truth goes AEW and thinks he's WWE can do that. Okay, so you said that twice. Okay, cool. Michael, need to bring back. It's time to go. Ha! Nice. You remember that. Okay, let's see. I may. I'm thinking. Av, what's up, my man? Any new Chill Hop songs to check out? Oh, yeah, there's a lot. Kromanichi, man. Kromanichi is absolutely booming. Jan Hunter Jr. He just came out with the new CD that's amazing. I listen to it all the time. I listen to it tonight. It is called Jan Hunter Jr.'s new album is called Chill Tape Volume 4. Yup. Yeah, Jan Hunter Jr. There's a lot. Kromanichi, J Folk, another dope artist. Marquez Murray. Marcus Murray. There's a new song called Pivot by Styles Davis and Venus Beats. Yeah, man. I can talk chill hop all day long. Love chill hop. Josh, what's up? What's up? Weekly freestyle. You love the freestyle, Danimal? Thanks, man. It's just so it takes so much out of my mind that I'm prepping for class. But it's funny, man. I used to do that every week on this show. It takes a lot of brain power at so late at night to do it. I may bring it back though. I freestyled a couple times recently. I think this year, but I broke a freestyle up with my last anniversary when EC3, Vince Russo, not this past anniversary in April, my anniversary last year. It was me, EC3, Vince Russo, and Renee Michelle. It was a fun show. Elvis, did you know that R-Truth was going to be released before it was made public? No, I did not know that. Nope. James, now that Carlito is leaving WWE, do you think he would do an angle where Judgment Day explains why he's no longer with them? Nope, I don't think that's going to happen. Elvis, do I like Steph's new group? It doesn't make sense to me. Until I understand that, I don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen. I don't get it. All righty. What else do we have? Zubair's in the building. Ever done? Sauna's been using it since added to Evercurrent Gym. Yeah, saunas are great, man. Absolutely. Elvis, how's Evan been doing? Evan, man, me and Evan talk almost daily. I mean, like that's still a very close friend of mine, and he's having some health issues and he's feeling better. Continue to keep him in your prayers, and yeah, that's my guy, man. Me and Evan talk. I mean, multiple times a week, all the time. Zubair, which would you prefer for muscle recovery, Epsom salt bath or saunas bath, or even both? I would say both. Learn doing both can be too much along with doing cold plunge. Adopted this, especially with pro wrestling. Yeah, I mean, I would say both depending on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to, well, with cold plunge, it's like if you're trying to tighten up your muscles or if you're trying to loosen up your muscles. Usually tightening up is cold and loosening up is hot, warm. And so it just depends on what workout you're trying to do. Are you trying to, did you just have a really amazing workout? You're trying to gain that type of muscle recovery when it comes to, that muscle recovery. Are you trying to basically medicate your muscles and give your muscles an opportunity to rest in order to recover? So it just really depends on what you want to do for muscle recovery, as far as where you're at and what type of workouts you're doing. A lot of people who are like heavily training for something, or who are like really diligent of getting that muscle recovery to form, they that's when they do the cold plunges. But just normally people do like saunas or Epsom salt baths to rest and recover their muscles. Elvis, when you talk to Evan again, please give him all my best wishes. Evan watches the show a lot, so I'm sure that he will get your well wishes, and we'll most likely be talking tomorrow or the day after, just like we do all the time, and I will let him know. All right, y'all. Man, what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show today, man. Lots and lots of fun. Really, really, really enjoyed it. So once again, thank you for the awesome support for the show tonight. As always, wonderful show tonight, man. Broke down the psychology of social media and the psychological dangers of Twitter. So I really hope, like as a shoot, man, I really hope that you further understood what happens when people do stuff on Twitter. I mean, that's really what I'm trying. I was intending to convey to you all today. How do people think on Twitter? And when you spend so much time going back and forth with what people say about you and responding to stuff all the time, you got to look inside yourself and say, like, one, why do I have this much time to do this? Why am I making too much time to do this? And why do I care? Why do I care about what these people are saying about me? Like, they're Twitter people. I broke down what they think and how they move and why they do what they do. So I really hope that this episode did that for you. It helped you realize that you ain't got to engage yourself so much into that social media stuff, man. It's like opinions. Like I said, They're loud, they stink, and they go away. All right. The biggest opinion that you should focus on is the opinion that God has about you, the opinion that you have about yourself, and that the opinion that others in your inner circle who are close to you have about you. Anything else is uncivilized, as the commercial would say, the old school commercial would say. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, it's been a wonderful show. I'll be hanging over to the Patreon to have a little bit of fun, talk about some more true stuff, get a little bit more in depth of that, talk about Vince stuff if asked. It's usually a Q&A stuff. I'll break down some inside stuff and have some conversations about shows and all that fun stuff on the Patreon. So we're going to be doing that. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. Patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. Go to visionwear.co. Get your momentum mug. And thank you for your support. Enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.